Uja, thank you for tuning in. See if I can read this name. Tala? I'm just tuning up my harp. Did you have any trouble with the time change? I'm glad the time changed because I would have totally missed this. Yeah, I did not wake up as early as I wanted to, but thank goodness the time had changed. This middle string is always a little bit strange. Thank you for tuning in. I'm tuning the harp. This middle string. That sounds pretty good. Still not ready. Okay. Uja, Dua for tuning in today. Today's November 7th. And according to the calendar that I've been following, the Neterian calendar of holy days presented by Temple of Amun, today is the day we celebrate the festival and ritual of the plowing of the earth. Plowing the earth. And this is my first time observing these holidays. I've noticed different calendars have different dates selected, and I'm not really sure how they came up with those dates. However, I'm choosing to follow this calendar. And I've been observing it by putting on these little mini concerts, Ancient African Adorations. So I hope you've been enjoying them. And so for the plowing of the earth, from my teacher's books, I only found one reference, and we'll cover that at the end. But for now, I'm just going to read a little bit that I found from different sources throughout the program. I found one translation. It's very long, and I did not make the time to study the whole thing. This is from, according to this source, this is the Book of the Dead, chapter 17. And the Book of the Dead I never found it. It's not chapter 17. But from this source, it says, this is a museum website from the UK, ucl.ac.uk. I guess one of these days I'll have to post my sources. Chapter 17, one of the longest individual compositions in the Book of the Dead, ranks as one of the most remarkable examples of writing from ancient Kemet, with its unparalleled structure of internal commentary. It identifies a deceased individual with the Creator God, and every few lines inserts the words, "What does it mean?" followed not by much by explanation, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really have a lot about what is the plowing of the earth, but it's the only reference that I found of the scriptures. And this festival is honored by Uja, by the festival of Koyak, which I think is a Coptic name. But the festivals of Koyak, this is from the website, the same website, the museum website, ucl.ac.uk. The festivals of Koyak are among the best attested from ancient Egypt. They revolve around the myth of the god Basar, murdered by his brother Set and revived by his sister wife Aset, to the point where she could conceive their son Heru. Basar withdrew to rule the underworld, while Set protected Haru until he was old enough to avenge his father in battle with Set, etc., etc. The death and revival of Basar provides the mythic echo of the annual rebirth of crops. In this ceremony, seeds were sown in the earth, which was from the new kingdom, shaped in molds in the form of Basar. The sown earth was watered until the seeds germinated, and then the guarantor of a successful crop was buried. The timing of the festival in the official year placed it at the 4th month of the flood, just as the waters receded to expose silt-covered fields fresh for sowing. The name of this festival, was Ka upon Ka, or sustenance upon sustenance. Let me write that down. I may not have it all together for this year, but I'll have it together next year. Haha. Because in this book I write down different terms. Ka, hair, ka. Okay. It survived Christian times as the name of the 4th month of the season of the flood, rendered in Coptic as Koyak. Okay, so then it has a list of the, so what it appears is they plant the seeds, they water the mold, and then every day they celebrate a different day of finding a different body part of Basar, which was interesting. And then after they found all the parts, then they have the raising of the Jed pillar. And in the calendar that I'm following, we had the raising of the Jed pillar yesterday, and now we're having the plowing the earth. And then in another week or so, we celebrate the search for the body parts, and Aset finds the body parts. So I am not really sure about all that. However, I have been benefiting from following this calendar, so I'm just going to keep going. How about some music? So we're still dealing with the Sar. I'm not going to go through all the opening chants today. I'm just going to go through the opening chant. Let's see. Om Nebaja Kapra Sarom. 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 Nebaja Kapra Sarom. AstMaataJi, capital Asar. Okay. All right. Let's see if anyone's tuned in here. Looks like somebody's tuned in. Uja, greetings. Okay. The next reading I had is from eoht.info. And this is another resource for the Koyak festival or the Ka festival. I didn't write, what is it? Sustenance upon sustenance. I'll make sure I write down the translation. Alrighty. So, according to this source, this festival season, honoring the Koyak, is supposed to be from December 10th to January 8th. And this calendar has it starting on November, what's today, 7th, or it started with the 6th yesterday. So like I said, I'm not really sure. I know we have the precession of the equinox, and that's why all the dates are, different. But like I said, I'm going to stick with this calendar for now. So each day around which is themed around the passion of Basar, the myth of his death and resurrection of the god Asar. And this source says it references the raising of the evergreen tree, not the jet pillar, that this observance is the origin of the Christmas holiday. In Egypt, annually, the 30-day period of December 10th to January 8th, the fourth month of the season of Aket, the inundation, just as the waters receded to expose silt-covered fields fresh for sowing. One thing we have to remember is the Kemetic calendar was 3 10-day weeks. It wasn't like our calendar where it's 4 7-day weeks plus or minus a few days. And so I'm not sure if this calendar is following those 10 days. Okay, so it's the origin of the holiday. And the festival of Koyak was a seed planting festival of sorts, the gist of which is summarized as follows. Quote, the festivals of Koyak are among the best attested from ancient Kemet. They revolve around the myth of the god Asar, murdered by his brother Set and revived by his sister wife I think this is the same, it's a quote from what we just read. Where she could conceive their son Heru. Asar withdrew to rule the underworld, while Aset protected Heru until he was old enough to avenge his father in battle with Set and win the throne. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Then we have here they say the deceased wears an onion necklace to prepare for the solarization of the Sokar Asar. A luminous rebirth occurs in the morning of the 26th day in the month of Koyak in the Ha barge, which is protected by the 5 geese, daughters of Ra, and their barges. The transport of the bow was organized by the high priest of Ptah in Memphis. And then they have a timeline of events based on different sources that occurred each day of the month of this festival in the temple of Heru around 100 AD. So this is, already getting into the modern times But they say it's from December 10th to January 8th. And our calendar has different dates. But again, they make the molds, the seed cakes that in the shape of the body of Basar, and they water them and they plant them, and then they honor the days when Aset went around and found the body parts. So I guess after Christmas Day, December 25th, which is supposedly the time when the sun is reborn and Heru is born, they say that for the 10 days after that, they find the head of Basar, the eyes of Basar, the jaw of Basar, the neck of Basar, the innards, the intestines, the lungs. Now this is when you know it's suspicious. They say they find the phallus, and we know they never find the phallus. So that's why you can't just trust everything. The thigh, the legs, the fingers, again the phallus. This time they're saying it's the arm, the heart, and then finding the sons of Basar, and then concludes on January 8th with raising the Jed pillar. So like I say, I'm going to have to do some more research on my own. By next year, I'll have it together more. Okay, well, let's have some more music. Since I wasn't able to find any really teachings, this program is going to be a little different. Let's do Anpu. Because I didn't find what I was looking for. Let's open up the ways. So Anpu, looks like we have a comment. Okay. Anpu is one of the sons of Basar that was conceived by Nebuchadnezzar, the sister of Aset. And the birth of Anpu is the reason why Asar lost his life, basically, because his brother Set was in a rage of fury and jealousy. So Anpu is the neter of the opening of the ways, and the god of discernment. And we can call on Anpu when we need to know the difference between the real and unreal, or when we invoke that energy within ourselves, and we take on the ability to know the difference between the real and the unreal. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Remove obstacles in my success, in my spiritual practice. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Lead souls through the narrow pathways to know the difference between real and unreal. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Messenger between heaven and hell. Face black as night, golden as the day. Equally watchful by night as by day. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. May Anpu make my thighs burn, so that I can stand upon them. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. I wash myself in the waters where Anpu washed himself, where he was the officer of embalmer and bandager. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. Oh, Anpu, open the ways. My lips are the lips of Anpu. 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 Yes, Anpu, open up the ways. Open up the ways for us to have more understanding of the plowing of the fields. So far, all the references have been to agriculture and planting and prayers for good crops. Osiris, has many aspects, many names, and one of his titles is the Green God. And when he was reborn into the netherworld's eternity, he became known as the greenness of everything in the earth. And one of his symbols is wheat. And so they plant the seeds in the shape of Basar, and then they water it, and it's to ensure a prosperous crop and also eternal life. And when we make an offering, when we got to eat our meals, we make an offering, AstMaataJi, and we also have a image of Basar, so we give Basar the Jua, representing the greening of what we're eating, because we're vegetarians, so everything we eat has chlorophyll. And let's see. Well, I'll save that for when we have the resurrection reading of the resurrection. Looks like we have a question. Just got done gobbling my neighbors. Well, I don't understand that post, but anyway, I hope you have a wonderful time at Walmart. The time change, so it might be a little different. Okay, like I said, I don't really have a lot planned. Yesterday I did all my Asar songs. So today is mostly about the teachings, learning more about the plowing of the fields. Okay, so we did this one. Here is another reading about the festival. What does this say? Okay. Well, this just pretty much talks about the reconstruction of the body of Basar occurred at a place called Jedu in the Delta region of Lower Kemet, and it was here that the yearly ceremony of raising the Jed pillar took place on the last day of the month of Koyak, the eve of the agricultural new year. The next day marked the beginning of the 4-month-long season of Pert, or going forth, during which the lands rose out of the floodwaters, allowing the fields to be sown. Jedu was also referred to as Pert Asar Neb Jedu, meaning the house of Basar, the Lord of Jedu, etc., etc. On the eve of the new year, the last day of the month of Koyak, a golden statue of the Ba of Basar would be brought up to the temple to be put in the sun to rejuvenate the soul of Basar, something along these lines. Yeah, so these later words and teachings and writings are all after Kemet had become invaded and had started to decline, and they're only dealing with the physical. They're only dealing with the agriculture. And when we get to the teachings from Temple of Shetaut Neter, we'll see the difference. So then here they have a similar celebration at the temple of the Dendera. Yeah, the same thing at the temple at the New Year. So the thing about the New Year, like I have a feeling that they have altered the dates of this holiday to fit in with the Western holiday, because if they're talking about the eve of the New Year, like I say, I'm not really sure, but the eve of the new year, December 31st, is when Sirius culminates. Great Awakenings, when Sirius culminates. And then that's when the Western calendar made that December 31st, like Happy New Year. So like I said, I'm going to do some more research over this coming year and see where I get to by this time next year. Yeah, so. And last but not least from this page. Oh, that is all from this page. Okay. Okay, now this is an article about the Egyptian afterlife. So how do we go from the agriculture to the afterlife? Well, when you get more into the teachings, you realize that the field of reeds, the field of peace, the divine boat, they're referring to life in the netherworld, to our eternal life. And one way of looking at this life is you want to clean out your karma, your REU, so that you don't have to reincarnate. You can remain in eternity. Another way is you want to live your life in this present the way you'd like it to be in eternity. So as we're going to learn a little bit later, they have fields in the netherworld. They have plows, they have planting, they have water. It's it's another dimension of existence. This is just the physical dimension, and they say we're moving from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, the fourth dimension being time. So the first four dimensions are illusions. The first four dimensions are what we know as creation, dealing with time and space. And then the fifth dimension does away with all of that. So perhaps the netherworld or eternity is, similar to the fifth dimension. I'm not an expert. Like I say, I'm just finding out about this now. Okay. So this part talks about the field of reeds, and the illustration that they show is one of the ones that I shared in the little promo slide. The ancient Egyptians believed that life on earth was only one part of an eternal journey which ended not in death but in everlasting joy. When one's body failed, the soul did not die with it, but continued onward, an afterlife where one received back all that one had been through, all that one had lost. One was born on earth through the benevolence of the gods and the deities known as the seven Hathors, then decreed one's fate after birth. The soul then went on to live as good a life as it could in the body it had been given for a time. When death came, it was only a transition to another realm where if one was justified by the gods and goddesses, one would live eternally in a paradise known as the Field of Reeds. This source is from worldhistory.org. The Field of Reeds, sometimes called the Field of Offerings, known to the Egyptians as Aru. It might be, they're talking about Ariu. Yeah, Ariu. When I first read this, I was like, Ariu. That sounds familiar. Yeah, Ariu is the where all the impressions from our past life and previous life existences is stored in our heart. And in this life, we're supposed to purify our Ariu so we don't have to reincarnate. A mirror image of one's life on earth. The aim of every ancient Egyptian was to make that life worth living eternally. And as far as the records indicate, they did their very, very best at that. Okay, and so after Kemet had been invaded, the Western explorers, etc., tomb raiders, they only could see that the Egyptians were obsessed with death. They didn't get the message that they were leaving teachings on how we could transcend death and have eternal life in the netherworld. So anything written, put out by the Greeks or the Europeans is, you can't always trust it. It can give you an idea or can point you in the right direction. I wouldn't stay there. Okay, so I think that's all I had to read from here. Okay, I think I only have one more. Oh no, this is the actual dictionary. So, let's see. I'm literally obsessed with my background. Oh, thank you. Okay, yeah, let's talk about the background. This is a wall hanging that I just ordered from Amazon. It's a photograph that I took when I was in Egypt. And it shows here. Oh, you can't see this side very good. Well, it's an ankh. It's an ankh with a microphone, which symbolizes eternal life. And then this is the Jed pillar of Asar. They've kind of been talking about the past few presentations. And the 4 upper Aritus. My Kemetic name is Arit. And the Neterian word for the chakras is either Aritus, Arits, or Sefik Ba Ra, the wheels of Ra. Arit also means action or offering. And I have these amazing lights here. They're just LED lights that change whenever there's a movement or a sound. And then on the other side we have I think it's Waset, but somebody else probably was that staff, and then a human's head. And I have to admit I don't really know exactly what they are. Yeah, I got my favorite photographs I got made into banners, so I change the background every now and then. It's you're supposed to see the doorbell, but anyway. Okay, so like I said, when I come across a teaching like this and I looked through the scriptures, I didn't find the Medu phrases. Well, thank you so much for showing the love. However, I did find the reference in the book by Sema, the Purdah Maru by Sema. And I was able to write down some of the terms. So we'll close out with a chant that I just comes through me. I'm going to add that term, ka here ka, to the lyrics down here. Ka here ka. Maybe that'll be the chorus. I'll just see what happens. Yeah, I think that'll just be the chorus. With these sessions, I'm literally writing songs. It's kind of cool for me. Okay. All right, so let's get on to the teaching from the actual Purdah Maru by Dr. Muata Ashby. Let me just check in here with YouTube, see if there's any questions. Okay, well, I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, just type them away. I'm just going to keep on with my research. Okay, so here's the book, Purdah Maru. It says written by Dr. Muata Ashby, but he actually compiled and translated it. So he didn't write the Purdah Maru, but he did compile his favorite spells or teachings and then translated them. Okay, so according to this book, chapter 18 is the chapter of discovering the field of peace. I sent Oh my gosh. Thank you. I don't know. I've never gotten 600 likes. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's some sort of contest going on. So thank you very much. Okay. And so as you can see, the map of the field of peace has 7 plots. And they each represent one of the 7 psycho-spiritual centers, the Sefik Bara, the Aritu. And each one of these Aritu comes with a watcher, a gatekeeper, and a herald from the Duat. So I'm just going to read a little bit from here so we can learn more about the plowing. Thank you. The plowing. You are still sending them, Alex. Okay. All right. Okay, and so the field of peace is called the Sefket Hetepu, and the divine boat is the Sefik Yaru, and the Neferkert, I didn't put that word in there. Neferkert. Well, I'm sure that they'll tell me. Right now, I don't remember. All right, here begins the words of Sefket Hetep, and the words of coming into the light and of going in and coming out through the Neferkert and arriving in the Seket Yaru, and then being in peace in the great city, the Lady of Winds. I am powerful in there. I am a glorious spirit in there. I plow in there. Also I reap there. I eat there. I cause myself to drink therein, and I make love therein. I do these things as they are done by those people who have physical bodies on earth, says Asar. And then when it says Asar, you enter in your name. Says Asar, I'll say, says Asar, Arit Makaru. I have come here in peace, and I make homage to you, divine ones in charge of food. I have come here in peace to receive divine food. Grant me also the ability to see the great God every day, so that I might partake in the offerings made to his Ka daily. And then says Asar Arit, Set has carried Heru away, looking at what has occurred in the Seket Hetep. I have opened the winds upon the divine soul in his day within the divine egg. He has released Heru. I have crowned him in the house of Shu. It is the house of stars his. I behold peace in districts his. He has made it through the Met district of the company of gods and goddesses, his elders. 2, 6, 37. Okay. He pacifies the divine fighters who are the overseers of life. He created what is good, bringing an offering. He makes peace between the divine fighters in their respective domains. He cuts off the crops from the combatants. He has brought to an end strife from their children. He has removed the injury of the souls. I am powerful over it. I know it. I have sailed in its waters so that I may come forth to its towns. I am powerful in my speech, having been granted noble, glorious spirit status. Other spirits will not have power over me. Again, they shall not have power over me. And remember, when we're reading from the Purdam Huru, it's not just reading for people who have passed on or at their memorials. It's for the improving the quality of our life, because we're going through this journey of the soul. Okay, just a few more. I'm not going to read. Just a few more. Okay. And then here they have images from the netherworld of the Sefket Hetep and the Sefek Yaru and the Neterkert. You can see there's images of plowing and the boat. Okay. I am one who is known by the god Hetep. O Hetep, I have attained this field of yours. I eat in it, I drink in it, I plow in it, I copulate in it. I do not perish in it, for my speech is strong in it. I will not be agitated in it, for I know the wooden post that is in Hetep. It is called Bequet. It was made steadfast with the blood of Shu and held fast by the sweetness of the day when years are separated. Hidden is my mouth, and silent is mouth his. The words his are secrets. His speech fulfills eternity, taking possession of everlastingness, existing as Hetep, Neb Hetep. Okay. Then, of course, Dr. Ashby has a magnificent gloss, which would take an hour at least to read and understand the whole thing, at least an hour. But I will read a little bit about Sefket Hetep and Sefek Yaru. According to the sarcophagus of Seti I, the Duat is the body of the god Asar, which is pictured as a man bending backwards into a circle, touching his toes with his hands. It is said to have 14 Ats, or regions. The ultimate destination of all departed souls is the region of the Duat called Seket Yaru. Seket Yaru means field of plants, field of reeds, fields of peace. It is located within the region called Seket Hetep, field of peace. Hetep may be translated as peace and or offerings which make peace. Each region is presided over by a divinity. The vignettes used for the depiction of the Seket Hetep come from several papyruses of the Persian Meru. They vary in some ways, etc., etc., etc. And then the Sefek Hetep is a realm which resembles the physical realm in that the soul experiences life situations similar to those on earth, much like a dream world. The difference between a dream and death is that after the dream, a person wakes up, but the waking up out of the dream is merely changing the focus of consciousness to a different field rather than to an abiding reality. In death, one wakes up not to the physical existence, but to an astral existence. For those who are enlightened, there is no waking up, sleeping, astral experiences, or reincarnating into the physical world because they have discovered their nature as one with the divine self. In this sense, everything emanates from the supreme divinity, and all fields are to be viewed as relative realities in reference to the absolute reality, which is God. Just as in a dream, these experiences of the relative fields may be pleasant or uncomfortable in accordance with the workings of the Ari or karma of the individual. Just as in life, some days are happy while others are frustrated. And now the Sefket Yaru. More advanced souls traverse to the Seket Yaru. This is the paradise for the worshippers of Basar, also known as the House of Basar. It is the realm of heavenly enjoyments. All creation is a manifestation of spirit in a sevenfold manner. The Seket Yaru is composed of 7 sections known as arits, or mansions. They may be thought of as rooms within rooms, or dimensions within dimensions, or planes of existence within successively higher planes of existence. They relate to the 7 energy centers of the subtle body of each individual human being, as well as the 7 heteru cows, which are sired by Asar. Thus the spirit Asar engenders the 7 aspects of creation, the cows. Whew. Okay, that's enough. So, let's see if there's any more questions. Now I have wanted an epic journey to find peace in September 2020. Wow, you picked to find peace during a pandemic. I hope you found peace. Peace begins within. And this, what I was just, I unfortunately have to go. It was so nice meeting you. Well, I post the replay on YouTube. I'll be posting a little clip from this broadcast on the TikTok, and then the replay, you can watch it on YouTube. It was nice meeting you too. Thank you for showing me so much love. I am reading from the Pert in Peru, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's actually called the Book of Coming Forth by Day. And it's called, in some circles, a book of spells. It's a book of readings or writings by Jehuti to help us on our journey through life as we seek enlightenment. The purpose of life is to become enlightened. And you also read from these passages when someone is dying or they're dead, they died, or their memorial, or whenever you do offerings to the ancestors, you choose a reading. However, like I said, it's also emphasized to read them while we're alive to enhance our journey. So I'm following the Neterian calendar of holy days, and today is the day called the Plowing the Earth. In ancient times, there was a festival at this time, and I usually offer ancient African adorations, musical offerings, in honor of the holidays. And since I don't know anything about this holiday, I'm doing my research here online, and then I have a chant to offer at the end. So I hope that answered your question. So from what we read today, what we learned today, the Plowing the Earth is not just a festival for planting seeds and having a good crop in your life on earth, although it does include that, but that's not all that it is. That when our body dies and our heart is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, oh, there's a typo, we will find out our fate. And preferably, we will be permitted to go to the Seket Hetepu and the Sekem Yaru in the Neterian. Let me put that in here too. Neterian. And live out our eternity, which hopefully will be very similar to the life we have on earth. So if your life on earth is not the way you want to live in eternity, then you need to be making changes and planting new seeds, right? This is where it's all coming, where it's all going. At Horoscopes, during the month of Sidereal Virgo, the name of that month was called Aspolia in ancient Egypt, and that means a seed. And it's a time of planting our intentions, our seeds of intention for the garden of our life, which is the things we want to manifest in our life. So, so what this is meaning to me, and I can say I haven't studied it, is that during this month, when we're remembering the time that Aset traveled to find the body parts of Basar, which is the parts of our soul, our intuition, reached out to pull together all the aspects of our life, all the aspects of our personality. Our Ritu, the chakras, represent different areas of our life, right? So we're plowing the earth to plant. You plow the earth to plant seeds. That's why you plow the earth is to plant seeds. So we're planting seeds for our eternity, for the life that we want to lead in eternity, for the life we want to live in eternity. Because just because our body dies, we don't die. Our soul lives forever. Our spirit lives forever. If we haven't learned our lessons in life, then we have to come back to earth. And my spiritual teacher is saying, you don't want to come back to earth anytime soon, because look at the earth, it's in turmoil. So it behooves us to cleanse our REU, purify our heart, cleanse our mind, harmonize our mind and our heart, so that we can be at one with the Basar, be one with Ra, be one with Nebuchadnezzar. Hey, Nebuchadnezzar Kepada Oh, to be one with with creation, so that we don't have to come back anytime soon. Like I used to say, if they ask me to come back, I'll come back, but I don't have to come back. I'm not attached to being here, and but I'm not going to say I'll never come back or I hate it here, because I love it. I love life on earth. However, it's not the objective. It's not the goal of life. Okay. So, from what I recall from teaching, taking classes, when we're in our deepest meditation, we are able to go to those areas of the Seket Hetepu, the Seket Yaru, of the Neterian in our meditations. I've read that the Seket Yaru is the field of reeds. I've read that it's the boat that carries us across the ocean of consciousness. That the Seket Hetepu, the Seket Yaru are fields of consciousness. The chakras are different fields of consciousness and awareness. So remember in these teachings that we have the duality, we have the physicality and the spirituality, but the goal of Ma'ati is to, keep them moving together, Aset and Nebuchadnezzar. So when you do this holiday or festival, remember you want to have a good crop, and you also want to plant good seeds of intention. You want to have good thoughts. You want to only express good words. You only want to attract positive thoughts. Only express positive words, because everything that we say, or writing out our intentions, is going to come to pass. And the ones with the most negativity usually have the most energy, and those come to pass just as easily, sometimes more easily, than the positive messages. So this chant is not based on any scriptures or anything, because I didn't find any this year. So when this happens to me, I go to the, what is it called? The Lexilogos Dictionary. It's an online dictionary. And you look up Egyptian dictionary, Egyptian hieroglyph dictionary, and it presents the Budge dictionary online. You can just look up a word. You type in the word in English, and it'll show you all the places that it's translated in the Medu Neter, and it'll give you the hieroglyphs. So what I do is I make a list of the words that I found, and then I type them in a list, and then I offer a chant. So the words that I chose today for Plowing the Earth, the festival and ritual of plowing the earth, the words I found were to plow the earth, many to till, many, M-E-N-I, to till the earth, kebs is to dig up, and the earth is ta, so kebs ta, kesbao is to plow, and then I added ta, the earth. And then I learned that the word heb, they said that's the word for fruit and seed. I don't have any confirmation of that. Go back. Where did I see that? Fruit, seed. Page 147. Let me go back there. 147. Digging, yeah. Yeah, it says, just want to make sure. Heb. Yep. Right. Yeah, H-E-B. Yep. Fruit seed. So that would be another term for aspolia. And then the other word I have is Iakeru, crops. And then we have Seket Hetepu, Seket Yaru, Neterkert, and then Kaher Ka is, I said it's going to be the chorus. So let's put that in here. Okay, so let's see what music comes through. So I just have a list of the vocabulary words, and I'm just going to sing this little song. Seket hetepu. Seket yaru. Seket hetepu. Seket yaru. Seket hetepu. Seket yaru. Seket hetepu. Seket yaru. Kahirka. 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 Try something else. Ameni, Kemstakespa. Ameni, Kemstakespa. I like the first one better. list of words for plowing the earth. What am I reading? Beautiful. Well, I'm so glad that you enjoyed this. It means the world to me that you're here. Your presence is a gift to me. Thank you so much. And that is what I have for you today. If you enjoyed this program or these mini concerts, please consider making a donation to AstMaataJi Temple of Divine Light Healing and Sweet Sounds at the Light Being Wellness Center. And the next Ancient African Adorations presentation will be this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Aset seeks the body of Basar. Aset grieves the loss of Basar. And Aset rejoices after she finds Basar. And then again on November 30th, raising the pillar of Basar, readings from the Asarian resurrection. So, like I said, I'm following this calendar, and I'm comparing it to the other calendars that I have found to see the truth. Because last month we had the Feast of Basar in Abydos, and we had the death of Basar on the October 3rd, the Feast of Basar on the 25th, and then we had the raising of the Jed Pillar on November 6th. Today's the plowing of the earth, and then Aset finds the body of Basar later this week actually. So anyway, we'll get to the bottom of this. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you on Friday, November 12th. That one will be at 6 a.m. And then the 13th and the 14th will be at 8 p.m. Central Time. Dua Hatep. Thank you so much. Peace and love. Hatep. Oh, thank you for the love. Oh, thank you for being here. Dua Hatep. You'll be able to watch the replay if you weren't here from the beginning. Dua Hatep.